What was the 1990 for Crime Bill? Have you ever wondered how a single piece of legislation could shape the landscape of crime and law enforcement in the United States? The 1990 for Crime Bill, officially known as the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, is a significant example. This bill was sponsored by Senator Joe Biden and signed into law by President Bill Clinton. It aimed to tackle the rising crime rates that were alarming many Americans at the time. From a Republican viewpoint, this legislation was a response to public fears about crime. It reflected a desire for tougher law enforcement and stricter sentencing policies. One of the key provisions of the bill was the introduction of tougher sentencing guidelines. This included the three strikes law, which mandated life imprisonment for repeat offenders. The idea was to keep dangerous criminals off the streets and ensure public safety. Another important aspect of the bill was its focus on prison construction. It provided federal funding to states for building new prisons. This was intended to increase capacity and reduce overcrowding. With tougher sentencing laws, it was expected that more individuals would be incarcerated, making this funding necessary. The bill also included truth in sentencing laws. These laws required that prisoners serve a significant portion of their sentence before being eligible for parole. This aimed to ensure that sentences were actually served, rather than allowing early releases that could endanger communities. Now, let's talk about how this bill intersects with Second Amendment rights. One notable provision was the federal assault weapons ban. This ban prohibited the manufacture and sale of certain semi-automatic firearms and magazines that held more than 10 rounds. From a Republican perspective, this restriction could be seen as an infringement on the right to bear arms. Many conservatives argue that such measures limit access to firearms necessary for self-defense. The legacy of the 1990 for Crime Bill is mixed. While it aimed to reduce crime, it has faced criticism for contributing to mass incarceration. The increase in prison populations raised concerns about the long-term effects on communities and families. Republicans might view the bill's focus on law enforcement as a necessary response to crime, but they also acknowledge the unintended consequences related to incarceration rates. In summary, the 1990 for Crime Bill was a significant federal law aimed at addressing crime through tougher sentencing and law enforcement measures. However, its impact on Second Amendment rights and mass incarceration continues to spark debate among conservatives and others today.